Yes, I'm live streaming again after my previous live stream. No, the previous live stream did not end with any connection issue, but I might as well another video because I want to rant. I really want to. The past few days, I've been thinking to myself. I've been be thinking. Now I'm just stressing out, So I might as well just talk about stuff. So, anyways, I have to put this away because just with this so much, I might hurt myself. Some of these things are pretty sharp. Push it away. But, anyways, I want to talk about something pretty important, and it's the culture that we're in. I don't like talking about politics all the time, and I'm getting very tired. I don't even know if I'll delete this video, but I've been noticing it a lot more lately that there are people out there willing to sacrifice everything just for the sake of the culture war. And plenty of people in Hollywood, for instance, they're trying everything they can, willing to lose millions of dollars and whatnot, just me and maybe even you in your place. And I'm at a yeah, I don't know what else to do, to be fair. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to give any money to them. Maybe there are some good people at Hollywood, but not all of them are out there. Focused on attacking people, and the thing is that they have no good reason, you know? And they just guys. They perceive themselves as the good guys, even though they're not. And for the past few months now, I've been noticing down of wokeness and movies and whatnot, and it's a problem. It's becoming a big problem because they don't want my money, and I'm very fine with this type of mentality because saving a lot of money. I'm not someone who goes to the movies a lot. No freaking uh what can I say? Buy a lot of products. I don't really have FOMO. Uh FOMO means fear of missing out. A lot of people have fear of missing out. They fear missing out. I understand that. They want to be part of the conversation. I don't care about the conversation. I've been away from friends for so long, even since a child. Uh, I have never really caught up with popular trends. I never owned a fidget spinner. Okay, you want to know how much of a FOMO person I am? Fidget spinner. But there were times where I would just watch something or, maybe purchase something or have eye opes for something and those are open inside because some people just don't want my money and it's very clear to be spending as much. The worst thing is the video game companies, they're just hitting it on the head when it comes to politics. And I know not politics is a problem when it comes to video games, but it is a problem because it's so easy to say, well, we have XYZ character, and that's it. They can sell a broken game to you, and they won't be selling a broken game and not fixing it, and selling just a complete broken game and fixing it. I'm not saying that games are easy to make. Trust me, if I ever post games, it's gonna you know but overall there's so many companies out there with so many people and just mostly focused on politics. Don't forget that this is being affected everywhere. Infected the recent Need for Speed game. I'm sure some of y'all have played it, some of y'all have heard about it. The story mode is trash. The people who wrote the dialogue are not people hang out with, which is unfortunate. I'm always you know totally fine with people speaking strange ways, but I have to be the people who wrote that story mode for Unbound. Those people spend too much time on Twitter or maybe on whatever social media site people use now. They spend too much time just crying about stuff. I would look, if something is political, let it be political. But if something is not political, why make it political? Like I don't get this mindset, the soft edgy as people call it. A lot of people like to be soft. In other words, it's like, you know, it's basically uh, edgy as that's what these people are. They identify as edgy, but they're not edgy. Okay, there's one thing to identify as edgy, but can they really be? People's edginess these days aren't edgy anymore, which is ridiculous. Because I remember a couple of years ago, it would be so hilarious to make fun of certain people. Now these people don't even make fun of anyone. Video games are just so bland. I'm not saying every game mean that. I think some games have its moments, but think what edgy is these days. It's embarrassing. Being edgy doesn't mean freaking you know, rioting on the streets and stuff like that, or whatever it is. That's not edginess. I'm sorry. That's literal, just basically following. You know, edginess used to mean something so different. Why am I ranting about edginess all of a sudden? But I was just talking about how some of these people are edgy, but they're not edgy. They are not edgy people at all. They're edgy by speaking a certain way, but it's not edgy by kind of making slight humor of every situation. That's not edginess. That's not. That's just trying to be funny. You know, it means you'll actually make jokes that are very very uncomfortable. You are totally fine with it. You know. Sorry, but I don't even know what's going on anymore. I don't want to rant about the edginess stuff, but overall, like video games, so much politics. And games can't be political. I'm just saying nowadays games have to be political, or else a bunch of people will get offended. But it's not just the offender, it's the fact that there's also people funding it. What I've noticed, what I've heard is that there are a lot of bull funding wokeness in everything. You know, a lot of people hate billionaires. They only hate billionaires like Elon Musk. That's it. That's the only billionaire there is now. I guarantee you. I'm not saying you're not allowed to dislike the guy for the same people who are now criticizing him. A couple months ago, they were cheering him on until he purchased Twitter. So I'm just saying, most of the billionaires are very much way. They lean a certain way, and the problem is that they've been pushing things in a certain way. I'm fine with billionaires living their own life if they want to have a bunch of money and a bunch of houses and dance and do whatever. But the worst part is that some of these billionaires are funding wokeness. You have companies like BlackRock and what have you, woke crap everywhere. That's what ESG is about. It's like a criteria of diversity points. The more ESG you have, doesn't matter about the gameplay style. If you have 100% ESG, no funding. It doesn't matter if whatever gameplay you have, gameplay. You don't even have to have gameplay, and you have ESG stuff on it. So they will continue providing your boring ass stuff. That's what they do these days. And I'm not just making it up. And the next thing is, of course, people also buying a lot of these products. And I understand it. I completely understand where they're coming from. You know, I understand where people are coming from, mentality of supporting some of these companies when they do the right thing. But some of these companies, when they do one right thing, they do 500 things that take Disney, for instance. Disney has been, doing pretty well with Spider-Man movie coming out, okay? But now you do realize that they made like 60, 70 woke movies. So at the end of the day, you may be supporting one thing, but that money can also go towards supporting more woke stuff at the end of the day. So I watched a Disney movie last year, but at the end of the day, it was like you then think, why can't they make movies like this? But it's like you're going to be getting one good movie out of 100. It should be the other way around, one out of 100. But no, it is not the case these days. It's how current day everything has to be like this. So moving on, I do fear that continue. And the best way to do something is to always make your own content or support people who are pushing, you know, support the things that you want to support. You know, there was this game that was actually, I think, banned on, or not allowed on Sony. I purchased it recently, you know, on the Nintendo Switch. Pretty fun game. Not really my favorite game because it's a shooting game. Um, the next thing is, of course, what can I do? What can I do moving forward? A lot of things actually, and I think talking to spread awareness, but only to a certain extent. It doesn't go it does not go further than creating new content. It just creates a conversation, and that's a good thing. But we need to create content, because 500 years from now, talking about this and nothing's done because we keep relying on so many people on Hollywood to make good content. We have to make the new legends, the new legendary characters. I know people like Razor Fist, Eric July, Shad from Shadversity. Is that how you pronounce his YouTube name? You have a lot of creatives and also some comic skaters and whatnot making, pushing forward, trying to make good content. And I feel like than any of these Hollywood companies trying to tell me I'm terrible for being who I am, you know? And I think that's what we have to do in society. We have to keep moving forward. Stop waiting for Hollywood, major companies like Hollywood companies to give us good content. They're not going to do that. Maybe once or twice and that's it. That's it. That's it. That's all it is, you know? So just stop relying on that. And I have to tell that to myself too. So when I'm speaking it to you, I'm not just telling it to you, I'm also telling it to myself, because I also have a slight addiction, not as much as other people, but I have a slight addiction of many things. And I just can't let go of something. I'm someone who's very clingy on many things, and it's so hard for me to let go on something. I've been this way since a child, and I don't really have favorite shows or whatnot. I do have one favorite game, but that's it. My entire life has revolved around one favorite game. That's it. Never got into Star Wars or all the other types of stuff, so I'm actually quite fine. I don't really have any baggages to anything like that. Um, so that's it. So speaking of baggages, I do believe that we're going to be getting more woke stuff, more woke content, more surprises this year, and more conversations are going to be sparked out. But I hope we get more content out. That's just what I'm trying to say. I hope we get enough content out there, or start getting content out there. Even me, I hope something will happen. But I can't speak too much about myself because anytime I say something, lightning strikes. So I might as well keep that under the blanket now until I get something done. Then I can talk. But when it comes to other people, you know, talking about stuff like take Eric July and his Isom comics, his Ripperverse comics. He's doing something, and I think that's very fun. That's very awesome. He's creating something, not just being part of the conversation, but creating something as well, so people can lean into. Think about it like this. Let me show you some stuff. I know I'm not supposed to be playing with this, but think about it like this. Think about it like this. You know? Think about it like this. Let me use these ones instead. Kind of dark, isn't it? You can't see it. Okay, think about it like this. Back in the day, Hollywood used to have so much space for creativity. As the years went through, obviously they slowly determined which is problematic, what isn't, and before long, they're stuck with a small amount of space to create content. And the rest of the stuff, strong masculine characters, good written female characters, they abandon stuff like that. Most of them abandon stuff like that. And let me just say that this is prime opportunity for many people who like that type of content and are creative. They can make content like that, because let's face it, Hollywood is not going to make the strong masculine male you want. If they do, they'll just tear the character down, strip him little by little, and make sure he's, demasculated, and make sure he's mocked 24/7. At the end of the day, I don't want to be waiting for Hollywood to give me a cup of water. I'd rather do it myself, you know? Or I'd rather let someone else give me a cup of water that I can trust. A strange analogy, but I guess it's better than nothing, I guess. Uh, what else can I say? Moving forward, it's not just going to be the Rippaverse. I don't want people just to only have superheroes. There's a huge market for content, not just superheroes. Not just superheroes with capes and underpants, but maybe action characters, action heroes. Uh, you could say maybe s- stories with prehistoric characters or aliens or whatever. Fictional content. We need a lot of medieval stuff, a lot of content. There's a lot of tastes that need to be satisfied, and it's not just Eric July creating content. There's a lot of people trying to make content, trying to get out there, do things. I've even spoken to a couple of people, and recently I spoke to someone, and he was very, very, uh, very pumped to make his own content. So there are a lot of people out there wanting to make content, and they need people support. So I feel like I'm going to be making sure that I stop supporting most of these major companies and start supporting uh, people that actually deserve my money. I understand it's going to be tough, especially for other people out there, because I don't have that much baggage when it comes to like Star Wars and all the other types of content. But regardless, I still have to let go of some of my own stuff that I like because it's not going too well. So that's all I can actually say. Anyways, I also want to get into some old stories, some old literature, get into that, try to see what I can do with that, work with my own stories and whatnot. But overall, I will try and get into old literature. And I've recently got into the Lord of the Rings series, and let me just say that that's a blast on its own. Still on the second book, and I just need more time. I just need more time. But regardless of that, uh, Rings of Power already happened. So yeah, and they doubling down on stuff. So that's all I can actually say. uh, Moving on. Let me just check something. Okay. For a moment, I thought I did not finish my tea. Okay, so that's it for today's live stream. I just wanted to vent out some of my pain because every day I'm always on this thinking about it, be thinking over and over. I think I need someone to talk to, and I can talk to you guys because you guys, uh, watch my content, and I feel a bit more comfortable when I speak to you guys because you guys understand what I'm talking about. Have a wonderful day. Bye.